Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visuals. Remember, right now, PM Modi is on an international tour right now. He was in Cyprus barely a day ago. We'll try and get more details. That's the national anthem on. Let's dip into that. So these are important, basically a three-nation tour. Cyprus, Canada, Croatia, the big C on itinerary. On agenda, remember, will be as much about the diplomatic relationship, but it will be a cooperation in trade, investment, technology. And of course, this comes in the backdrop of the G7 summit in Canada and to address the global issues as much. Prime Minister Modi embarking on this three-nation tour. He's already been in Cyprus and then will be heading to Canada and Croatia. So the first stop, as you're looking at, is the Republic of Cyprus. He will be engaging in discussions with President Nikos. And the visit comes in the backdrop where India and Cyprus have had a long relationship. And focus on enhancing collaboration, of course, in trade, investment, security and technology. But also remember, with Cyprus, India has had not just latest people-to-people contact, but with Cyprus, we've had historical relationship as well. And therefore, right now, when we are looking at how possibly Turkey is jumping to support Pakistan, that is where India's connection to Cyprus becomes a geopolitical advantage as well. This is the first visit by the Indian Prime Minister to Cyprus in over 20 years, a strategic signal as well, because if Turkey tries to deepen ties with Pakistan, how can India ensure that with countries like Cyprus, we can have military, trade and better relationship as well? So it's basically the first leg of the three-nation tour. We'll be tracking more on what exactly happened. That's the Cyprus anthem being played. It's a military guard of honor that's given as protocol. Armed forces and the delegations there. Shivani Sharma also joins me. Remember, because Cyprus is an island in the eastern Mediterranean Sea and is close to Turkey and Syria. So therefore, in many ways, as a member of the EU, it's geographically also important, but geopolitically is also of significance. Shivani Sharma joins me for the latest on that. Shivani, so the military guard of honor, then he heads, and I believe laying a wreath as well as the visuals on our screen. Take us through of how significant, apart from Croatia and Canada, of course, Cyprus's background also is.
Narendra Modi's visit to Cyprus is very important in terms of a number of references. Number one, this is a visit by Indian Prime Minister after 2 decades to Cyprus. This is very important because we are also seeing how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been building diplomatic ties with nations across the globe. There have been nations where Prime Minister visited first time, but Cyprus is a nation where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting for the first time in 20 years. We can see that Prime Minister Narendra Modi who's arrived, he's been welcomed out there. And this is a visit which is focused on the potential role of the island that could play linking India to Europe via a special trade corridor. Because, the geographical presence of Cyprus is very important to understand. This can be an important route for India to link India to Europe via this particular trade corridor. There are a number of other important agendas on which Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be speaking to the Cyprus PM. He will be, he's also going to the G7 group of nations. He's going to the summit in Canada. But while he started his journey from Cyprus, we know the importance of this kind of ties between India and Cyprus. And one of the very important objectives of the discussions is also what we are saying, that a wider Middle East that can be established through Cyprus, this island. And this is how India is trying to open up, Pooja. This is a very important visit where Prime Minister is on tour to 3 nations, including Cyprus and Canada. He left yesterday and he's being welcomed in Cyprus, where we can see how he's being welcomed by the Guard of Honor out there, with a special guard that has been arranged for his welcome. So an important diplomatic visit, a diplomatic outreach by Prime Minister Narendra Modi that starts with Cyprus to advance the trade corridor plan.
I believe I can see External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar as well with Prime Minister Modi, others as well from the Indian delegation. Also, Minister of External Affairs release has said how India-Cyprus ties remain one of India's dependable equations. It supports India's candidature as the permanent member of the expanded UN Security Council, full support for the India-US Civil Nuclear Agreement, and of course the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, which helps India address increasing energy needs. So energy, economic cooperation, of course, will be the big issues right now. I believe that that Cyprus President, Nikos Christodoulides, on his arrival also he received Prime Minister Modi and currently walking alongside. Shivani, as we look at these visuals, of course, Cyprus has its own issues. It realizes how Turkey has attempted to, in fact, earlier, there's been a conflict with Turkey and Cyprus. So this is something that Prime Minister Modi and India would want a strong relationship with, considering how Turkey is closing into Pakistan.
Certainly, Pooja, the diplomatic sources say that this visit is aimed at sending a very strong message to Ankara. And India has expressed concerns over Turkey's position and actions, especially when we saw the Operation Sindoor that happened, where the Turkish operators, along with the Turkish drones, they targeted civilian areas in India, while India had been helping Turkey in the time of need. So certainly, this visit, in contrast, Cyprus has actually backed India in the issue of terrorism, Pooja. And after the Pahalgam attack, remember when a number of nations were standing in solidarity with India, Cyprus had also condemned the Pahalgam attack. So in that manner, this is not only a message from India that's going out to Cyprus, but also a strong message against Turkey, which in a way has actually parted away from India, and it was aligned with Pakistan, especially in terms of those attacks that were inflicted on India, on Indian civilians. So the Cyprus forms a part of the energy corridor also, that will connect India to Europe. So very important diplomatically also, and in terms of development of the trade corridor that India intends to work upon.